right, Drew, it's your turn. Get in there, sing your songs. You're kind of in a different sort of space. You're sort of singing only as loud as your headphones, and you really should spend more time on it. But here it is, Midnight Oil, Beds Are Burning.
Time has come to say fair's fair, to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact, it belongs to them, let's give it back. When our earth is turning, how do we sleep while our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? The time has come to say fair's fair, to pay the rent now, to pay our share.
Yeah. What is this? Here's a song that is good. The White Stripes. This sounds pretty good. People sort of, it's when we do it live, people sort of, they go, yeah, it's this song, and then they realise it's kind of weird to dance to. It sort of is. It's kind of a, hey, look at us kind of song, but it does make people stop and look at us. So here it is.
I'm gonna fight 'em off. A seven-nation army couldn't hold me back. They're gonna rip it off, taking their time right behind my back. And I'm talking to myself at night because I can't forget. Back and forth through my mind behind the cigarette. And the message coming from my eyes says leave it alone.
Yeah. Anyway, so enough of that. It was a good weekend. You know what I did? I went to Soundwave on Saturday with a Japanese mate of mine, Nathan. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Nathan, Japanese name. He's a funny dude. He's actually lived in Australia for 10 years, and when I first met him, you know, he's just a Japanese face. He looks Japanese, and someone introduced me, and I was expecting, you know, like, I don't know, Takahiko, Takahiro or something like this. And they went, yeah, this is Nathan. I went, what? Okay, hey, Nathan, how are you? And he goes, how are you? Yeah, good, mate, good. And the funny story about Nathan is, he's a top dude, he plays guitar. He came to Australia and he learnt his trade to be a sparky on the Gold Coast. And so he didn't know any English, So the English he does know is bogan Aussie, bogan tradie. So he's, yeah, I can, oh yeah, mate, yeah, oh yeah, you know. That's his English. He doesn't know any better. He's just been taught by tradesmen. So it's like when, if I meet a Japanese girl, you can tell that she's learnt English from the American English book or something, you know. You know, we're going to the airport. So it's funny where people learn their English from another country. So when they go to Australia, they get completely confused by our bogan accent, because our English is so nuts when you think about it. It's definitely not Disney. See, a lot of people around the world, if they get into English, they listen to a lot of Disney, you know, Let It Go and Frozen, and that's kind of like this safe, free of too many accents, English language. So if you were to, you know, and I speak fairly well for an Aussie bogan from Logan, but I actually, you know, I try to speak well in a bit, you know. So, but if you're a Japanese person coming to Australia, you think you know Disney English. Yes, I kind of know English. Hello, how are you today? Hey, mate, how you going? What's going on? Yeah, not bad. Oh, where you want to go? You want to go down there, do you? Oh, mate, go this way. Go down there in the street. Hang on a minute. You want to go to the shop? Oh, okay, yeah, mate, go. All right, no worries. So we say all this other funny stuff. That's where people go, what the hell? It's kind of like when I hear Irish. My mate's Irish, but when he shows me a funny show from Ireland on YouTube, I can't understand it. I can understand Scottish before I can understand Irish. Irish is pretty tricky. Yeah, so anyway, went to Soundwave, metal festival in Brisbane, and it's a 2-day thing. I saw some great bands, and naturally my Japanese mate, he wanted to see these 2 Japanese bands, and I didn't do any study on them, who they were. But out came Crossfaith. And before we saw Crossfaith, we were sort of stage hopping, dropping through all these different bands that I hadn't heard of before then, but I was looking on YouTube the night before and what these young metal kids were all about. And there were some pretty good bands. Nothing was... who did I see? Killer Be Killed rocked out. That was good. I went, yeah, these guys are really trying. This is good. Bit of Godsmack. That sounded good. That was good. They kind of stood there a bit too much. I was expecting a bit like their videos where it's all action, yeah. But then we went over to this stage, saw Crossfaith, and these dudes came out, and they were kind of, they were just sort of perfect. I wanted to take the piss out of them, but they were just this perfect band. They knew every sort of rock pose, and like they were sculling. The whole band was sculling Jack Daniels, and at first I was like, oh man, that's just so. But the crowd was just going, yeah. And these were little dudes, little Japanese guys, and they even had this sort of techno bit in one song where it's just drums. But the singer, I think his name's Kenji, all of a sudden, like there was a couple of thousand people that just piled in to see this one band, and I'd never heard of them before. Even my Japanese mate, he knew the other band, Cold Rain, that were on after them, and he goes, why are all these people here? And so I guess word had got around about how good this Crossfaith were, and they were brilliant. They were making us all do walls of death, circle pits, like all the stage tricks came out in such a natural, but I could tell they've been doing just the master, the guy the singer in the band has this cool way of doing it where he's completely still very tough, and the other guys, just a great metal band. They just blew my mind actually for it. So that was really good. Cold Rain after them were still good, but massive act to follow. And not a lot of people hung around. They sort of went and saw other bands. Went out and saw Marilyn Manson. He was the worst. Wow, just super like drunk or pretending to be drunk. It was kind of cool. I'm going, no, I really want to. If he is drunk and this is part of his deal, I'm watching it. I'm going to keep watching it. But he was singing things like this. So it was just sloppy, and the big screens that were showing it was as if they were only focusing on Marilyn Manson, and the rest of his band were dimly lit, so they didn't have any sort of his character happening in the stage show. So it was just this old dude walking around. And he looked really old too. He kept disappearing. After every song, a curtain would open and a guy would usher him out the back. And he'd go inside and come out with a little bit of a costume change. But he'd come out and talk too much, like, no, this is guy, and just as if he was really drunk. And it was pretty embarrassing. And I don't know, I was up the back, so when you're up the back, you don't really know how the show is going right up the front, because it could have been really spellbinding. I don't know. Anyway, then Slash came on, which I'd seen a couple of years ago. He was really good. The sound was really good for him. But to be honest, after watching Crossfade, like this fast metal groovy band, when I played guitar, I used to play AC/DC a lot, and that was fast and heavy. But then, like the 90s kids started to really get into deep tuning metal and just playing and like simple riffs with the right drumming that moves the entire audience, and like headbanging bits and like real sort of theatre with the way the rhythm goes. And there's someone here. Anyway, real theatre with the way the rhythm goes, but boring as batshit if you're sitting on the lounge chair playing guitar. Just anyway, and I was probably too old. So once I'd watched a whole bunch of metal bands, I was like, man, this is such a good thing. And I obviously love metal. I listen to it at home, and but every now and then, I mix it all up. But when Slash came on, I'm like, yeah, Appetite for Destruction, such a great record. It just seemed really slow. I'm kind of like, oh god, I can really feel. Even a bass player playing just a 4-string bass, there were so many 5-string basses and detuned. So if Slash was to finish a song and go with an E note, well, all these other bands in metal finish their songs. Everything is just heavier and sort of theatrically just more. So it was like Slash was this sort of country blues thing. So to me, it was like, oh man, I'm a bit bored with this. I can't wait to get to some metal to come back on. And the next up was Slipknot, and I've been taking the piss out of Slipknot for a long time, only because I knew this guy that loves Slipknot. And I'm like, oh man, you're just one of those dudes. But I heard a couple of records, and I went, yeah, definitely they've got something that sounds really good. Like the metal was good, and obviously they got a lot of fans. So I'm probably wrong, as I've always thought that. And so we're thinking of going home, and I went, no, come on, let's just hang tough and go watch Slipknot. We went right up towards the middle, right in the mosh, and out came Slipknot with probably the best show I've seen forever, for a different reason. If you were an African tribe and you've never left Africa, you know nothing about the internet, and you went to Brisbane that night and they stuck you in at the Ekka,